good evening and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the full circle festive fishing grotto, I think we'll call it. Got the tree up, it is Christmas. Also got some fairly suspect 1980s looking decorations up. I know, it is Christmas, so I'm sure you can let us off. Prefer to be out fishing tonight. Gary and I had planned to get out. Gary unfortunately has been struck down with this dreaded flu that seems to go around. He's been in bed for 5 days really struggling, which is a real shame. I was going to go out tonight, but I've got to keep myself right for the next few days. I've got about 4 consecutive days of drinking in front of us. It's the 22nd now, so I don't really, I've been feeling like I've been on the cusp of getting ill. I've managed to fend it off so far, but I didn't want to take my chances and get myself out in the cold and wake up regretting it tomorrow, particularly when the sea's flat anyway. So tonight what I thought I'd do is do a quick tackle review, because when we started the channel we did say that we'd do some tackle reviews, and I think to date I've only done one, which was on the Bullseye, probably about a year ago actually. I think it was the first video I did when I got the GoPro last Christmas, because I had COVID. I ideally wanted to be out using it, but so this is the second review a year later. It's on the Shimano Aero Technium 14,000 MgS XSC, and what I'm going to do is take you through 4 features that I like about it and 4 features that I'm not so keen on. Number 1. So the first thing that I noticed straight away when I bought this reel is the line lay on it. For me, it's absolutely incredible. It's amazing. It's got what Shimano call the 10 super slow, which basically means that for one full up and down, one oscillation up, it wraps the line 100 times, and I've never seen anything like that. I must admit, I've never used a Daiwa Bezier, for example. I'm sure that's very good, so I can only go off what I've used, but for me that is just absolutely incredible. It's really, really good. And in terms of improving distance, it definitely helps in my view, so that's a big tick in my box. So one thing that I don't like about the reel, which I'm going to get out of the way straight away, is obviously the price. I bought this just at the start of quite early during lockdown in 2020. And I paid 500 quid from, I think it's called Fishernator. So I did import it. I don't think I was hit with any import charge at the time actually, which was quite lucky. But I mean, I've just been looking at the Veals website, and is it the XSD now is about 600 quid. But what you do get with paying that much is you're safe in the knowledge that it's been made in Japan. Also, which I'll come on to in a second, I've had to deal with Shimano a couple of times, and I've got to say the service, in my experience, is really, really good. You do sometimes have to take your gear to a local Shimano dealer. They're not really keen on dealing with the public direct, fair enough, but I've always found them really good. So number 2 of the likes is the weight. It's about 500 grams and it is incredibly light. I've used this, as you might have seen on some other videos, over rough ground, pulling reasonable sized cod in through kelp, and it's absolutely spot on. It's, as I say, it's got the Shimano's CI4 material, which is about 20% lighter than its previous, some of its other graphite materials. For me, I like to keep all of my tackle as light as I can. That reel really fits the bill. My first fixed spool was a Penn Spin Fisher. Bulletproof reel, you could throw it to your mark and back and it would be fine, but it weighs a ton. When you put it on a rod, it balances the rod differently. For me, personal preference, I like the lighter gear, so that's definitely a tick in my box. In terms of number 2 dislike, I mentioned before, it's made of Shimano's CI4 material, and what that stands for is the carbon interfusion, with the 4 referring to the number of electrons in the carbon atom. Carbon fibre reinforced graphite material is 1.5 times stronger than Shimano's normal XT7 graphite and is over 20% lighter. Great, if anybody out there understands molecules and all the rest of it. For me, it definitely makes the reel lighter, but I've got to admit, there was a couple of times, and this happened twice, and I was really crying. When I was casting, I don't know if it was my error or the bail arm had flicked back over. I went to cast, and it literally, because the bail arm was over, it just sheared straight through that rotor on both sides, straight through. Now, would that have happened on a solid pen metal reel? I suspect not, I don't know, but that was a bit disappointing. So the CI4 material, yes, it's light, and I'm sure, I mean, obviously it's not meant to be cast against, if you know what I mean, but I was a little bit suspect of how easy it came off. But like number 3, one of the other great features I think on this reel is the drag. You can go from within one turn to it being totally loose to one full turn of it being absolutely solid, which if you're fishing, if you're playing a fish and you need to adjust the drag, it's great, because I fished with some of their reels and you turn and turn the knob. With these Shimanos, these top end Shimanos, one turn, bang, and you're away. Can't comment on the Daiwas or the Finnos, never used them, so I can only comment on what I've used, but that for me is a really, really good feature. Dislike number 3 is the standard handle. It's got this flat handle, which for me personally, not keen on. Yes, these are ultimately carp reels, and I'm sure if you're playing a carp in a lake with, you know, not really any snags, it's perfectly adequate. But if you're fishing rough ground, like a lot of people do with these, you can upgrade the handle. I bought this off eBay. Granted, it was probably 2.5 years ago, and it was about 50 quid. I don't know what they sell at now, but it's got the same handle as the bullseye, and you can get a proper grip of that when you're pulling the fish through. So if you do buy one, definitely upgrade the handle, in my view, because the standard thing, not keen. Like number 4. For me, generally, it's just the smoothness of the reel. I think it's the gearing. It's got Shimano's Hagani gearing, which is the sort of upgraded cold forged gearing system. All the rest of it you can read up on the description, all the sales pitch. But basically, it's an incredibly smooth bit of kit, and for me, that's probably part of what you're paying for. Dislike number 4. Even though I absolutely love the drag system on it, the material itself of the drag knob, and it probably is the CI4 material, it's a little bit, I mean, the drag knob, okay, it's not really going to be exposed to a lot of force, or it shouldn't be, but I don't know, I think it'd maybe make it the same material as the spool, which is more of a metal material. I'm not sure if it's aluminium. Probably is, could well be. Yeah. So there you have it. There's a quick review of this reel. 4 points I like about it, 4 points I'm not so keen on. Hopefully it helps if you're in the market for a new reel, either this Christmas or in the new year. Is it going to help you catch more fish than what a reel of a fraction of its price will? No, of course it's not. Things that catch your fish, your knowledge of the marks first and foremost, good bait. Is it going to improve your distance? Well, we all know distance fundamentally is about having a good casting technique, but I've taken this down to the Holderness for the hounds in summer, smooth hound fishing, used it on my Flatty Fanatic, which is an 11-foot, estuary rod essentially, and cast baits out with it far enough with an overhead thump to reach the hounds. If you fill it with lighter braid, the line layer is incredible, and I personally think it will give you distance over other reels. I know for a fact if I took my bullseye, which is sat there, put the same braid on it and I cast it, that would outcast it. I've no question about that. So hopefully that little review helped. It might just help you to select your next reel. Do leave a comment. I'd love to hear how other people have got on with these reels, which features they like, which features they're not so keen on. I'd love to hear from anybody that's got XSA or B as well, because I'm probably may well buy one, and may even look to sell me bullseye or part exit. So anyone in the market for a bullseye, give us a shout. Would I buy another one of these? I'd probably, in all honesty, look for a second-hand XSB or possibly XSA. Reason being, I think the material, the stuff that predates the CI4 material, is more robust in my view, and I think one or two other people might think the same. But all in all, I think they go for probably 400 quid upwards. Obviously, since COVID, the world just seems to have gone absolutely crazy, but it is what it is. So yeah, really good bits of kit. As I say, unfortunately, we're not out fishing tonight, but I just wanted to say thanks very much to everybody that's supported and subscribed to the channel over the past, well, I say 12 months. We probably started posting, I think I set it up in August 21, didn't really do anything. I think the first video was about December last year, over Christmas, and then we started posting regularly in March time this year, after we fished the Euros down on the Holderness, and we've tried to keep videos regular since then, and I think the support that we've had in that 9-month period's been absolutely superb. So it's just to say a really big thank you to everybody that's subscribed and supported and that leaves comments and likes. I know we say it all the time, but it really is appreciated. It's really good, so thanks very much. So that's all from us. Hopefully you get out there. It's the season of goodwill, so hopefully the fish are full of goodwill and willing to take everyone's bait. But yeah, have a great Christmas everyone, and we'll see you soon. Tight lines.